Roll back. Peace. It's over, y'all. It's over. Not sure how audible I am because I'm on my tablet right now. My iPhone broken at the moment. But I'm going to just speak. Just speak my piece. So I'm seeing a lot of rappers come out recently speaking out against the devil and the machine and trying to atone for their ways and the damage that they caused. You got NBA Youngboy coming out on interviews saying that the whole music industry is demonic and he's surrounded by devils and demons. Even just that light, he's already said in the past, he knows that the reason why there's so much violence in the streets can it can directly be attributed to him and people listening to his music, right? Then you got this new rapper, Lil Tony, who's been buzzing in those spaces, coming out saying a similar thing, talking about how now he's not trying to rap about those things anymore, and he's trying to give his life to God. Speaking about church, speaking about the Bible, wrote a letter to his daughter, which is beautiful. And he even went on a stream and detailed a situation to where he was called up to a mountain and traveled up a mountain with these individuals, and they end up presenting to him an Illuminati deal. Now, this shit sounds wild to people who aren't in the know and who haven't experienced such things. But you can just look in his eyes and listen to what he's saying. You can see that experience that he's telling. You can tell it's the truth. The truth has a certain ring to it, right? And for that same reason, people like former YSL members like Lil Woody coming out and speaking the truth and basically showing his audience that him and his, the children and his family around him, they're going to church every Sunday, and how he's going on podcasts praying for people and, just saying prayers. Even he just went live yesterday, Last Shadow, and even then he just broke in the middle of the podcast. He was like, all right, everybody just bow our heads, let's pray. And really coming out to try and speak the truth and fight this battle for the truth and for righteousness. Yes, his shoes may not be all the way clean just yet, but he's trying. That's what's important. You got even Young Thug apologized. Just after all that bullshit, he goes on Twitter and says something to the effect of, for everyone that this has affected, I'm sorry for all these things that have caused. I hope y'all can look to forgive me. Why would he say that? Why would he say that? These are the questions that you got to ask, right? Now, it's some of us out here that's been pumping out this message for years, and people call us crazy. I done had people tell me, bro, don't nobody want to hear that, none of that positive, spiritual, miracle, lyrical shit. We just want to have fun. First of all, who the fuck is we? Destroying your mind and body and life with drugs is fun? Drinking your brain cells and liver to death for a few moments of lost control is fun? Drilling is fun? To who? Mm-mm. This entire world is under the spell of sleep called Leviathan, in which this whole realm is cast under ignorance. The being that was sent here to break this spell was tossed in the worst prison in America, for 135-year sentence. And his name is Dr. Malachi Z. York. Now, He's been in there for 23 years, but he'll be home soon. Won't be long. And the fact of the matter is, there's many people that are starting to wake up to the truth. Many people. Now, I personally put out an album almost 4 years ago called Knocking the Bow to Shoot the Devil. If you look this up on Spotify or tap on my channel, look on YouTube, subscribe or whatever, so you can see it after this live, you'll see that I intentionally stylized the devil in lowercase. And I was speaking some things on there, and around that time, on podcast episodes and shorts and Clubhouse and stuff like that was popping around the time, I was speaking on things there that many people will be afraid to speak on. I know very few that will. And since that moment, since I released that album, I've been under a level of attack that many of you could not imagine, nor will I get into the details of today. I've been presented offers from the devil's children for millions of dollars and presented a contract 3 times. Twice in my waking life and once in a dream. You don't gotta believe me. So, here's my question to you. What do you think my answer was if I'm still scraping by with freelancing, with no major following yet, or industry support, when I'm a better rapper and artist than 99% of these people on these charts? What you think I told them? People don't really understand the level of evil going on right now, right under their noses, because they dwell amongst it every day. If you have a busted septic tank, or you live next to a sewage plant, chances are after a little while, you won't smell the shit because your nose adjusts to it. This same process is what has happened within the music industry over the last 30 to 50 years as people have adjusted to more and more degeneracy. The same goes for TV and film. People adjust to what's fed to them, like an inmate eating chow that literally clogs up their intestines with a side of sleepy juice. For anyone that's ever been incarcerated, you know what I'm talking about. And think about what they call the food. 4 a.m. 4 a.m. The CEO screams out, "Chow! Chow." Dog food. And people just eat it. One time when I was incarcerated, I fasted for 11 days straight. And soon after, I was making things happen in there that looked like magic, including getting released when my charges dropped, when I expected, and they expected me, to sit in there for 5 years with no court date in sight. Judge wouldn't even see me prior to that until I started making things move. Hadn't even spoken to my lawyer. Couldn't get a hold of him. All of a sudden, spoke to him, and the next day I was out. Now, this idea to fast was sparked in me at that time by a dear friend of mine who was assassinated a couple years later, as he too was released unexpectedly, and the devil sent his children to poison him. Now, this man, who I created music with, I created the persona Samurai Black alongside him. He was one of the first 2 people who I told that name to. This man had a singing voice and melodies that would make it snow in Florida. He was so motherfucking cold. And he was turning away from the devil, from the discussions that we had in jail. And I had taught him meditation in foreign languages. He taught me the art of redemption and unfiltered soul expression. So I still walk with him, with me. But understand it's never easy to turn away from the devil when you've been on that side before. The devil will fight tooth and nail to keep people in his clutches. When the devil realizes he's losing, which he is, He will lie, torture, or kill. As scary as these things may sound, all of these methodologies have a common weakness, and that weakness is sunlight. This is why I will continue to speak the truth. This is why it's a big deal when those who were once the devil's soldiers turn from him and walk into the true light. This is why I speak life over Lil Tony, Woody, YB, anybody else with a platform that speaks the truth. The devil's time is up. The devil's time is up. The devil's time is up. And in every other great war, some of God's greatest soldiers were those who broke away from the devil's ranks or bloodline to tell the truth to those who know what to do with it. Divine love, Hadu Sashur, Wadu.